Well, happy Epiphany. Today is the 11th day of Christmas. Tomorrow is the 12th day of Christmas, which is Epiphany. And today, of course, we celebrate the revelation of that light that the Magi found so many years ago. Now, the Magi, they were profound. They were looking up in the sky to seek answers. Throughout human history, we have looked up to the sky seeking those answers, right? And they were probably Zoroastrian priests from Persia. And they had noticed a pattern in the stars. A new star had appeared that created a pattern that hadn't been before. And so they didn't just stop there, right? This is the beginning of their story. They journeyed to find what that star and what that something extraordinary was. And they noticed it, they studied it, they wandered about it, and they followed it. And they were persistent about it. Because if you remember the story, they went to Herod, who was the king of the land, who clearly should have known that something extraordinary was happening in his homeland. And did Herod know anything about it? No. As a matter of fact, Herod's like, something's going on here. I'm not too sure. I don't think I particularly enjoy another king in my kingdom. And so there they journeyed, not accidentally, with persistence, and they found that child in the stable. Few would expect that light, that extraordinary light, to be that child in the stable. We still look up to the stars for answers even today, right? We gaze up there looking for answers, seeking light, visible or invisible, seeking off more understanding about the beginnings of our universe and the galaxies that are far beyond. And this all goes back to Galileo, who found the telescope, who invented earlier that year. He took that telescope and pointed it upwards, right? Noticing that our world was so much bigger than we imagined, and got into quite a bit of little trouble over that too with the church, if I remember correctly, right? That the universe was more grand than we ever imagined it. And we have always looked upwards. And he noticed that first time when he moved that telescope up, that the lights above flicker. And that if we could get rid of the flickering, we might be able to see with some more clarity. And so science, from that point on, kept forward trying to figure out how to see past the atmosphere, which was causing the flickering. You know, that atmosphere makes it hard for us to see clearly. So from everything from balloons to rockets, we have sought to see those stars above and beyond our atmosphere. And of course, many of us are old enough to remember when the Hubble telescope became into view and we got those first few pictures back on Earth. What were they like? What was it like for us? Do you remember? It was astonishing. It was so incredibly beautiful. Light that we didn't even imagine it would be from our Earth. And 2 years ago, we sent up a greater and bigger telescope, the Webb telescope. Now, the special thing about the Webb telescope is it uses infrared as well as, so the light that you could see was even more and even further than we had before. And 1.5 years ago, we got these pictures back with such clarity. In places that we thought there were no universes, there were universes. It is amazing how we noticed, we studied, we wandered, and we followed with persistence, trusting that the light that we were looking for would lead to some sort of truth. I believe as Christians in our human curiosity that we are called to do the same thing, to look for that light, to refine our search, not unlike the Magi, not unlike the astronomers, to notice, to study, to wonder, to refine, to change our perspective so that it can be clear, to follow it with persistence. Again, trusting that the light and the search of this light will lead to truth. Every new year, we work really hard to have a new perspective on our lives, be it diets or a new trend or exercise regime refreshed up again. This year, I hope that we continue to remember that we are called to be persistent in looking for the light that God has asked of us. To notice the subtle wonders that are right in our very own lives. And we don't have to look far and wide for it. As a matter of fact, it's an everyday part of our human existence. That we are called to seek and to follow that God's light, and to remember that it doesn't always mean extraordinary moments. It means ordinary moments filled with love and light. And that God often comes to us in those small and hidden spaces, tucked away in our everyday lives, waiting for us to just look closer, to notice it, to love it, to kindle it, and to bring it into the greater world. And just like a telescope, may we not look outward, but inward as well. Look deeper into our lives, noticing where God's light and love is surely present. Be explorers of that light this year. Seek it, kindle it, share it with the world. Amen.